These pro-Palestinian murals aren't in Gaza or the West Bank. They sit in Belfast, Northern Ireland, more than 2,500 miles away. So what do some of those living in parts of Belfast and the rest of the island have to do with Palestinians? Generations of shared history around colonial oppression, for one. The turbulent history between England and Ireland goes back as far as the 12th century. In the years since, Ireland was subjugated by its neighbor to the east in a variety of ways. We're talking invasion, land confiscations, the outlawing of the indigenous language, the outlawing of Irish sport, forced starvation, disease, absentee landlordism, religious persecution, all of which bred resistance throughout those centuries, either through armed movements or peaceful protest. Fast forward to the early 20th century, and the thing that really starts to connect Ireland and Palestine is the taking of land from native populations. Ireland was partitioned in 1921. This is where Northern Ireland comes in, effectively splitting the country in half, with 6 counties in the north remaining under British rule and the rest becoming what we now know as the Republic of Ireland today. That partition came in the immediate aftermath of the Irish War for Independence, its borders drawn to basically separate Ireland's Catholic Republican majority from the mostly Protestant Unionists who were loyal to Britain. With Palestine, the British more or less used a similar playbook. After World War I, the League of Nations placed Palestine, formerly part of the Ottoman Empire, under British rule. The British made a proclamation in 1917 supporting the creation of a Jewish nation there. After the British helped Jewish Europeans immigrate to Palestine, Jewish people went from making up 9% of the total population in 1922 to almost 27% by 1935. Tens of thousands of Palestinians were displaced in the process, according to Al Jazeera. In 1936, Palestinians staged a 3-year uprising that was ultimately suppressed by British forces and Jewish militia groups. Seeking to address the conflicting interests of Palestinians and Zionists, in 1947 the British asked the UN to decide what to do with Palestine, and the body called for it to be partitioned into 2 independent states. But in 1948, the UK's mandate over Palestine ended and Israel declared independence. The war that followed saw Israel capture more Palestinian territory than the UN had allocated. Zionist forces took nearly 80% of historical Palestine, destroyed around 530 villages and cities, and killed around 15,000 Palestinians. In the decades that followed, the bonds of shared struggle in the face of colonial oppression only got stronger through hunger strikes, detentions, and assaults on civilian populations by military forces. Politically, Ireland at different points emerged as the loudest voice in the room when it came to standing in solidarity with Palestinians. In 1980, Ireland was the first EU country to throw its weight behind the establishment of a Palestinian state that was fully sovereign, independent of, and coexisting with Israel. It was also the last EU country to allow an Israeli residential embassy. In 2021, Ireland's parliament unanimously voted to condemn what it described as Israel's de facto annexation of Palestinian land. Along with that vote were calls to impose sanctions on Israel and expel Israel's ambassador to Ireland, but both failed to pass. Amid Israel's continued airstrikes in retaliation for Hamas's attack on Israeli civilians on October 7th, Ireland's government passed a motion calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, as well as €13 million in humanitarian aid.